Well, a very warm welcome to the first edition of our market wrap for 2024. Let's give you a bit of an insight into what took place throughout the month of February when the real estate market opened up here in Melbourne. Now, there are very, very early signs of this market starting to take an upward turn. We've heard whispers of rates coming down throughout 2024. I've heard 3, 4, or even up to 5 rate cuts throughout the year. Now, sometimes the sizzle is even bigger than the sausage because at the moment, we've had people acting very, very strongly on properties that have come to market, and we have had a record month throughout February. To give you a bit of a snapshot, over February's 4 auction weekends, the REIV recorded more than 2,800 auctions. 2,375 of those properties sold, with 1,757 at auction and 644 properties passed in. Now, interestingly, 592 of those properties were sold after auction. So the average auction clearance rate was 78.25%, which is way up on December's 73.5%. Now, we've certainly noticed that on the ground. Of my 10 properties that I auctioned last month, all of them sold under the hammer. All of them had an average of 4 to 5 bidders at each of those properties, and mostly all of them were over vendors' expectations. It's for a number of reasons. As I mentioned earlier, rates potentially coming down, a very big shortage of supply, and also obviously when rates do come down later on in the year, that typically does one thing to property prices, and that is go up. So to give you a wrap up as to what the top 5 sales for the month of February were, starting with number 1 was number 17 Glenagh Street in Brighton East, a beautiful 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom family home on some 647 square metres of land, and that property sold for $2,995,000. Next was a property that I auctioned at number 20 Shrewsbury Street in Bentleigh East, a 5-bedroom family home in the McKinnon Secondary College Zone. That was a very competitive auction, and that property sold for $2,680,000. Next was number 2 Lord Street in McKinnon, a family home, some 5 bedrooms again on 550 odd square metres of land, and that property sold for $2.5 million prior to auction. Next was number 21 England Street in Bentleigh East. That was a gorgeous family home, again 4-bed, 3-bath and 3 cars off street. And that property sold for $2,080,000 after the very first open for inspection. Next was number 36 Mullane Street in Ormond, a property that I sold in only 3 days. Expectations of $1.8 million. We had 3 buyers step up after the very first open for inspection, typical at the moment. And that property sold well in excess of the vendor's expectations of $1.8 million for $2,015,000 for a 3-bedroom Art Deco property on about 676 square metres of land. Pushing into 2024, I'm expecting a very busy real estate year. Lots of buyers, lots of sellers. It feels like the market has had a revamp of energy for the start of 2024, and I'm excited to see what 2024 brings. I'll see you in March.